Alright folks, I just spent the last few minutes tearing my tailgate apart and figuring out why it wasn't latching. Now, come to find out I didn't need to tear it apart at all to fix this. So I'm going to save y'all some time and just show those of you that don't care to know what's going on, just want to fix it. I'm going to show you how to fix it in just a few minutes using only a can of WD-40. So let me show you that, and if you're interested, you can watch the rest of the video where I tear it apart and figure it out. Alright, so what you're looking for, this here's the part that catches on the stud that's mounted on the back of the truck. And there's another little part in here that's spring-loaded. And what you want to do is you want to hit that little part up in there that's spring-loaded with some WD-40 or any other penetrating oil. And then you want to try to wiggle this, move it back and forth a few times until it starts to move freely. And again, it may take you a little bit, but you can see already this is starting to spring forward again. So that now when the post comes in here and clicks on this, it's going to catch, and then when you release the latch in the middle of the tailgate, it'll let loose. So that's all it takes is a little bit of WD-40 and wiggle it around, and that'll free up. Now I'm going to spray some carb-out cleaner on there and move this around a little bit just to make sure any rust and debris that's in those crevices is kind of sprayed out a little bit. And then once I've got that done, I'll hit it again with the WD-40. But that's how you fix it. Alright folks, so my tailgate here on the truck won't latch. And, it's been doing this for a long time. We used to be able to take this bar, fit it on this post right here, and bend it out, and that seemed to help a little bit. But then it finally got to where even that didn't help. So we're going to see if we can fix it. Alright, so we're going to start by taking a Torx 30 socket and taking all these little bolts out. Here's a little tip for you. Get these things loose with your ratchet, and then once you've got that done, take off your Torx 30 and put you on one of these hex to 1/4 inch adapters and put that in your drill and zip these right out. Alright, so what I'm left with is one of these bolts here. These other ones were taken out when I took my cover out, and one here. So we'll take those out and remove this panel. Alright, so a little bit of investigation reveals what the problem is here. Now the post, when the tailgate goes up, this post is supposed to push this back, and you can see that nothing's holding this thing in place. And it's the same way over on the other side. I'm showing you this side because it's a little bit better sunlight. What's supposed to be happening is this should be coming down. I'm going to hold that down, and then there's a spring-loaded latch here, and that should be pushing and catching this thing here. And then when I pull the lever or the latch release, it lets up on that and then releases this so it can move freely again. So this little piece right in here is not, it's on a spring, but it ain't very springy no more. And we're going to shoot this from another angle so hopefully you can see what's going on. Again, if I hold that and push back on that latch, down there at the bottom it catches, and then when I pull my lever, it moves and releases. So this part here not being springy and moving freely, I think is my problem. So we're going to take this apart and see if we can't get that working right. So this is a Torx 45. In case you're following along at home. Alright, so this here's my rod coming in, and I can't get that part loose over there without getting rid of this rod here. So there's a little clip here. I'm going to carefully pry this open so that this rod will move. And when I do that, this piece here will come out so that I can get to it. Now, if I finagle this just right, it will come all the way out. That way make it easier to work on. Alright, so let me show you again what should be going on. If this is the post on my truck bed, when the tailgate comes up and hits that post, it goes to that position, and at that position it should lock in place because this thing is spring loaded, and it should pop out like that and hold that in place. And then when you pull on the lever here, that pushes this forward like this, and when it gets far enough forward, that releases and lets your tailgate fall back down. But that ain't happening, so we got to take this apart and figure out why this is so stiff. Probably just that corrosion. Alright, so the problem I've got is this part here is pressed in on both sides. There's no way for me to remove that post easily. So what I'm going to try to do is just spray some lubricating, penetrating oil up in there, and then wiggle this back and forth a lot to try to work off any corrosion that's built up, and hopefully that penetrating oil will help carry some of that corrosion away and loosen this up to where it will work properly. So we're off to spray this down, wiggle a lot, and we'll see if it works. Alright, we got us some WD-40, and we're going to spray this in here, let it start soaking, wiggle it around as much as we can. Now, what I've learned so far tells me two things. One is I don't need to take this out because there's nothing for me to take apart in here. I could have sprayed this easily while it was still in place. And then the other thing it tells me is that using my bar on those posts that I showed earlier was not doing any good. And I've heard people talk about, well, it's an alignment issue, and you got to take it apart and take the bed off and re-put it back in there and it'll work. And I don't know, maybe that works for some people, but in my case, and you can see this WD-40 has worked already. This is all springy again, and I'm just going to spray this a couple times, wiggle it around, and I'm going to spray it with some carburetor cleaner to clean off all the oil and any rust and debris that might have come loose, and then I'll spray it again with the WD-40 to just lubricate it a little bit. So now you can see when I push this down, that works, and when I pull on the lever, that's going to work well. So that's my fix, and I didn't need to take this out again. All I needed to do was drop my tailgate and spray it, and wiggle it around a little bit, let it get free, and then it should be good to go. So on the other side, my work's easy. I don't have to take this, I didn't have to take the covers or any of this stuff off. All I needed to do was spray that with some WD-40. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Alright, so got some gum out. Any type of carburetor cleaner I'm sure will work just fine. And again, I'm just going to spray off this stuff in this joint, hoping that if there's any particles of rust, and I'm sure there are, that this will help spray them out and remove them and keep this from happening anytime soon. I'll push that down. spray this from a couple different angles with this in different positions to get as much of that free. I'll let this dry while I'm putting it back in, and again I'll spray it with WD-40 when I'm done here. So I just got to put this back together.